Hi everybody. In a previous video, we tried to plot some curves, which we've done successfully in this chart here. And then we wanted to compare it to the data, which I've put over here in sheet 2. And I'm just going to show how Excel is being a little bit stubborn. I'm going to select those two columns, hit Edit, Copy, and I'll come over here and I'll go to Edit, Paste Special, and the data should appear. And there's a new series that are added, series 7, but there are no data. What's going on? I have no idea. This is a problem with Excel that just happens on occasion, but I want to show you how to fix it. There's no easy fix. You actually have to start from scratch. But what we'll do is these data are already selected. We just have to start with the data themselves. We'll go to Insert, and I'm going to make an XY chart. And I'm going to take that chart and then just copy it back over here and paste it on top. There's really no shortcut or tricks here. I've really got to start from scratch. I'll just get this guy out of the way. And now I'm going to have to rebuild the chart. So we will go to Chart Design. We're going to add labels so we can see what we're doing. So this was average years of education, and this was literacy. And I know this is the boring part, but I'm going to just adjust the text size so it makes it a little easier to see. But what we're eventually going to get to in a moment is we're going to compare the data to the models. And comparing the data to the models is really critical because it tells us how good our models are. So here's the data. That's what we wanted to see. Now let's take a look at one of our models here and see how good of a job it did to fitting our data. So I've selected the model. Using a Command Shift, we'll go to Edit, Paste Special. And there's our model. We don't need to go down to negative values, so I'm going to change, I'll double click on that vertical axis and just let it go to 0. We do not want to have symbols for both the data and the model, so I'm going to double click on the model and have it be a solid line with no markers. So the marker options, none. And now we can compare that model to our data. And it looks like it does pretty well. We've got some little kinks in here to make it look a little nicer. Excel will interpolate it for us if we click on the line, and for the line option, there is a smoothed line, and you can see it smooths it out, just interpolates in between the points. And we can compare this to our reciprocal model. Go here, edit, copy, edit, paste special, and there's our reciprocal model. Looks like it's pretty darn close, as we already saw in the jump program. Again, solid line. We'll make it smooth to make it a little bit nicer. Markers, we don't want any markers because it's a model, not data. We don't want to get those two things confused. And then, I don't know, compare it to our original, let's compare it to the quadratic. So again, we'll do a Command Shift to select the data, and we'll paste that in. And same idea, we want a solid line with no markers. And now we've got a chart in Excel. I'm going to make the symbols a little bit easier to see. So for the markers, let's make them 12-point font and a solid fill and a solid line, and hopefully that makes them a little bit easier. So now we can compare our models to our data and decide which model describes the data best, and also which model has the functional form that we like. Do we want something that's really flat, or do we want something that's really steep? Do we want it to go precisely through the zero intercept? And that's part of the artistic aspect of modeling. Sometimes we don't know exactly what it's supposed to do, so we just have to use an educated guess or intuition, or sometimes a scientific theory, of course, if we have one available to us, to decide how the model should go outside of the range of observations. But this is a way also to just fix that one problem of being able to import data into an Excel chart when you've plotted some models and then they're just, Excel is being stubborn about what it wants to plot.